Okay, so here we are. Last episode of the show was the 20th of December. I do apologise. The first week of January was rough on my brain, so I had to take that scheduled stream off for self-care. But here we are, episode 68. Can you believe episode 68? One number away from the nice number. The internet would have me believe. Episode 5, Series 8, Behind the Screen, Realms of Pugmire, Life on the Road. Standard disclaimer, as usual, I do not speak for Onyx Path, nor is this project official material. All views and opinions expressed are my own, and this material will be available to buy on Canis Minor when it is finished. I am merely a grateful fan with a platform. I am also disabled. I do experience muscle spasms that can lead to a worsening of my stammer or slurring of speech, and in particularly bad episodes can affect the muscles of my jaw, my neck, my shoulders, any muscle group really, but anything you can see on the webcam. It may produce some unnatural looking movements. I assure you, most of the time they're not painful, they're just uncomfortable. And if that is the case, I will probably just black out the webcam, maybe take a moment to try to calm things down and continue. Has not happened yet, but I have to warn everyone. It can be disquieting to see, so I like to make people aware of that as an issue. So, as usual, we're going to start off by breaking down the Monday meeting notes, giving you a recap, and we'll take it from there. Monday meeting notes, in case you were unaware, are the weekly blog post that Rich T, usually the owner of Onyx Path, I think owner, usually puts out after the Monday meeting, and it's a general status of where Onyx Path Publishing is. So the most important thing to note is that the Realms of Pugmire 2nd edition campaign has been submitted to Kickstarter for approval, and they're hoping to get that approved so they can go live next week. That's pretty cool. If you're interested in similar upcoming projects, the last Friday's Pathcast was talking about projects and stuff coming up in 2023, which is this year, as well as a review of 2022, some discussion about the world below, and a couple of other things. If you're interested in any of that, probably worth checking out the Pathcast if you are a podcast listener, and there is a link in the Monday meeting notes. Those of you who are forum users, the forum migration continues. Apparently it's in the final stages before going live again. There is a screenshot in the Monday meeting notes of what it currently looks like. However, it will not look like that when the process is finished, so something to bear in mind. Just scrolling through, there's a breakdown of what the layout of what the approvals process actually looks like, in case you're curious about that side of things. Okay, that's really it, actually. Realms of Pugmire hopefully coming to Kickstarter next week. The Realms of Pugmire being the rebranded Pugmire game line, being much more inclusive and including rules for dogs, cats, and rodents in the core rulebook. Not terribly in-depth rules, you understand, but enough to see you buy. Completely compatible with the first edition. There's just there's a conversion guide in the back for new things, and it's all gonna be fine. Media. Content on the channel this week, all these times in Eastern Standard. Right now, obviously, 9 a.m. Eastern, just past. Me, Realms of Pugmire, behind the screen. Hello, I'm Conroy Bubbles, or Ryan, I forgot to mention that. At 1 p.m. Today, there's a Q&A with Eddie Webb, the founder of Pugsteady Games and the creator of the world of Pugmire. So if you're interested in any of the material that we discuss here today, please do consider coming back for that. 9 p.m. today, Trinity Continuum Adventure Storypath Showcase. Again, you have to do the adventure because there's an exclamation point. Wednesday, 6 p.m. Scion Hero Storypath Showcase with Romikota. Wednesday, 9 p.m. Scarred Lands, Sins of Shelzar, Frostlands of Fenrilic. Friday, 9 p.m. Mummy the Curse, Oceans of Eternity. Then if you haven't got your fill of either my face or voice or the Realms of Pugmire, at Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern, Realms of Pugmire, A Ball to Die For with Comrade Bubbles. Hey, that's me. I was fortunate enough to be allowed the opportunity to run an actual play, a very limited actual play for the second edition of Realms of Pugmire using the current playtest rules. I assume they'll be up on YouTube at some point, but they're definitely on this channel. And right now there are 2 sessions up. The session 0, which just covered character creation and discussion of safety tools and player and GM and guide, expectations. And then we streamed this Saturday just gone, and we had a fantastic introductory session. There's confusion, there are doggos being good doggos, and there's the introduction of the story. It should only last for another couple of weeks. I'm anticipating it to be like a 3, maybe 4 week thing. I might see if my players and Onyx Path want like a shorter wrap-up session to discuss how we felt about the rule system. So keep your eyes out on social media for that. Saturday 7 PM, Changeling the Lost, Viva Las Vegas. Sunday 3 PM, Scion Godsend. And then Monday at 5 PM, The Beginner's Guide. This is another non-actual play show where the Awkward GM provides like overviews and introductions, beginner's guides to Onyx Path's game lines and licenses. So if you're interested in this show where I touch on kind of what you need to know for contextual information to make the rest of the stream make sense, if you're interested in that side of things, or you're just curious about Onyx Path games but don't have time for an actual play, keep an eye out for that. I think the pre-roll says it's what was it? Hunter, Mummy, and Scion, according to the pre-roll at least. So if you're interested in Scion 2nd Edition, Hunter the Vigil 2nd Edition, or Mummy the Curse 2nd Edition, definitely check that out Monday at 5 PM Eastern Standard Time. Obviously, if you missed any of that, I do allow the post-roll to roll a couple of times after the show is finished. Media highlight of the week is a review of Scion Origin by the person by Awkward GM, who is running the Beginner's Guide show. Virtual tabletop news. I can't remember if I mentioned this last time I streamed, but the progress is being made on They Came From Beneath the Sea compendium for Roll20. So if you're interested in They Came From Beneath the Sea virtual tabletop stuff, get hyped for that. Speaking of getting hyped for virtual tabletop stuff, oh boy, we have a lot to get through today. On sale this week, we have Squeaks in the Deep virtual tabletop assets, Connection Lost, a Squeaks in the Deep Jumpstart virtual tabletop assets, Dead Man's Rust for Scarredlands virtual tabletop assets, Legend Lore virtual tabletop assets. So if you're interested in VTT assets for any of those, obviously swing by Drive-Thru RPG. I would assume, yes, on Wednesday. Specifically tokens. So if you want to build that token collection, obviously you know where to head. The project status updates, as usual, are not the entire project status, not a comprehensive list of the project. There is a monthly release roundup that provides the comprehensive list of projects, and it's like a snapshot of where they are then, and then the Monday meeting note simply provides a weekly update of what's moved. So, development status for I guess technically last week, but for this Monday meeting notes, we have in first draft Safety Bit Tyon, coming soon from Penix Oath, I guess. Tasty Bit Scion Street Intersection, third Tasty Bit for 2023 for Scion. Look forward to it. Tasty Bit TC Assassins Art Museum. In red lines, along with the Branch Riders core rulebook. Branch Riders is a game that Onyx Path are producing along with the Bodana group, who function as like games for therapy kind of deal. So they're making their own role-playing game, and Onyx Path Publishing is kind of overseeing it and providing advice and mentoring. But the full draft is into red lines, so that's pretty exciting. Final draft, we have 2 Exalted novellas, Scoundrel Song and A Murder in Whitewall. Manuscript approval, for those of you excited about the new generation of Storypath games. We do have The World Below, which uses Storypath Fantasy in the approval stage, along with the Ethernaut collection for Trinity Continuum Ether. Michaela is doing a fantastic job, apparently, and is doing such a good job that they've been described as tireless and passionate. and getting somewhat of a reputation. Post-approval development, Realms of Pugmire, Pugmire 2nd edition. That manuscript is being reworked because of the recent happenings around the open gaming license from Wizards of the Coast, and it's being fully ported over to Onyx 20 to remove all material covered by the open gaming license. I'll talk a bit more about that when we get to the actual content of the show. Art direction stage, Exalted 3rd edition Crucible of Legends and Pugmire 2nd edition are in art direction. Kickstarter assets mostly for Pugmire, I would imagine, based on the note associated with it. In layout, Deviant the Renegade's Devoted Companion and Exalted Essence. I'm so hyped for Exalted Essence. In proofing, we have Scion, Realms of Magic and Mystery. Nothing currently at indexing, and then at press we have Trinity Continuum Adventure. Errata is being input. Mage 20th Victorian Age, traditional press. The proofs are being reviewed. Scion, Dragon and Screen, as well as Masks of the Mythos and Screen. Contagion Chronicles Global Outbreaks, Exalted 3rd Edition Luna's Novella, Trinity Continuum Aberrant Proteus Nova Compendium, Exalted 3rd Edition Adversaries, and then all of the virtual tabletop assets that I mentioned at the start of the project status updates. I'm going to hydrate, because that covers the Monday meeting notes portion of the show. I'm going to move things around on my desktop so I can actually see what I'm working on. Make sure that OBS is picking up the right thing. It would appear to be. Okay, so the show. Right, for those who are new here, who may be watching this for the first time, welcome. We love you all. This is a content creation show. It's primarily a writing stream where I'll be writing community content and explaining why I'm doing certain things and how you could take the same idea and write a different mechanic for it. Please obviously be aware that as I mentioned this, I'm not an official representative of Onyx Path. I'm simply a hobbyist who happens to have a talent for mechanics and rule sets and tweaking them, hacking them, making them do what I want them to do. As it stands, I'm not a published writer. I have no formal publishing expertise, but I do have several community content pieces on the relevant websites, and they seem to sell well. And certainly the feedback I've had has always been positive. So, if you have any questions about writing community content or about writing content in general, or as you can see to the left of my face, to the right of my face over here, please do, or running role-playing games, please do ask. I will answer if I can. I do struggle multiple trains of thought, so I will try to finish talking about one thing before moving on to the next, but I generally try to acknowledge that I've seen the question. So this season of the show is about the Realms of Pugmire. The Realms of Pugmire, specifically 1st edition, because 2nd edition is not out yet, and therefore is not covered by the Canis Minor community content platform. So I guess technically it's Pugmire. Is a tabletop role-playing game in a post-apocalyptic fantasy setting where player characters take on the roles of dogs, cats, rodents, lizards, and birds on planet Earth after mankind has disappeared sometime in a very, 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 very incredibly far future. So they're kind of rebuilding. They've been uplifted. So they're bipedal. They have fingers, thumbs. They're capable of speech. And making their own technology, and they are rebuilding the world, and they're in kind of like a medieval level of technology with stuff that they view as magic, but that we would just view as advanced technology, and this is how they use magic. It's very reductive, obviously, for time purposes, but that's the core conceit of the setting, is essentially D&D with dogs. And if you do want to learn more about this, you can buy 1st edition material currently on DriveThruRPG, and then if you do back the 2nd edition Kickstarter, you'll gain access, presumably, as this is tradition now, you'll gain access to the game text as it is at the start of the Kickstarter. It's not complete. It's just black text on white background. There's no art. There's no layout. It's just a PDF of the rules as they stand. The general rule of thumb is like consider it 95% complete. But this, but the mechanics behind the first edition certainly are derived mostly from Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, with some 3.5 stuff, but it's all covered by the open gaming license that I mentioned like 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, I don't know when, which allows you to use those mechanics. So if you are a D&D player, you will be able to pick up Pugmire quite easily. If you are not a D&D player, but have been interested in the system, I would recommend Pugmire. It is a simplified, streamlined version of Dungeons and of the 5th edition rule set, and it does its own thing with it. So it does feel distinct, but it's definitely recognizably the same game under the hood, so to speak. But one of the things that I felt was missing from from Pugmire, and Monarchy's Mouth to some extent, the other core book. Just for characters, you can play with either, or both, was, or were, I guess, chase rules. This is something that I have struggled with a lot of role-playing games, in that you'll inevitably encounter something in-game that will either be a chase, or a race, or a similar high-stakes thing where someone is trying to make progress and beat someone else to something. Whether it is a formal race or chase, or people are just acting kind of at odds with each other in a thematically similar way. And TTRPGs usually either don't have rules to support that, have extremely basic guidance of just use this as a dice roll to resolve it instantly, or the rules that they do put in place are at odds with the narrative experience. They are slow, or they slow things down, or they're just unnecessarily clunky. They usually use some the I'll say action for shorthand. They usually use like the action side of the rules, because yes, they are pretty hype and full of action and stuff, but they're not combats. And anyone who's been around the TTRPG sphere for long enough knows that a lot of games that have a combat rule set, the combat usually takes a while to do, because it's slowed down, everything happens just so, and it's very granular. And I didn't like that. I don't like that. If I'm running a chase, I want it to be fast, I want it to be dynamic, and I want players to be invested in dice rolls. So Life on the Road was, or is, I guess, a way for me to address this. I don't need this document open anymore. And I will provide a recap, obviously, of what has come before, so that we may then continue. But it's a way for me. It's a way to address this, and hopefully to provide inspiration for you to use in your own games, perhaps using different systems in the future. I do apologise. Apparently I've been speaking so much that I've irritated the back of my throat, that the water hit it at the wrong, speed. So, so far in Life on the Road, in the past 4 episodes, I have defined the statistics of a land vehicle. I adapted the statistics provided in the Pirates of Pugmire supplement for ships to work with land vehicles. And with those statistics, I provided... I'll zoom in. Why not? I think it's 130 I usually go for. With those statistics, I provided a breakdown of how they will affect the mechanics present for chase sequences. Then I provided some example vehicles. I guess specifically, the statistics are sturdiness, which represent the vehicle's defense, which is how difficult it is to hit it in a meaningful way. oftentimes in games that use the OGL mechanics covered by the OGL, it's like a very binary hit or miss in player thinking, and you can still hit something if you fail to damage it. Integrity is the vehicle's health, so it's reduced to 0. Also, this is very much first draft material, so there'll be grammatical errors and spelling errors throughout. Like, that doesn't need to be there. Speed is what it says. Speed in Pugmire is measured in feet. I've abstracted it for this system just to keep the numbers down and as simple as possible. And then handling is the modifier that will actually be used in the chase rules, and the handling is affected by the other 3 statistics. I've provided guidance for how handling is altered there, and then in the example vehicles I have explained why its values work out the way that they do, to kind of simplify it and to provide exemplars for people who like to work things out who like to understand things by seeing how they're worked out with actual practical examples. The chase rules is what we're going to go back to today, but short digression, I also created 5 spells for use while traveling. That was it. There was nothing special there. I just procrastinated for an entire stream. So, chase rules. As I called out the ships here, I have a conversion guide for how to use the ship statistics found in Pirates of Pugmire with this system. So that's fantastic. Then the TLDR version is that rather than having an initiative system, at the start of a chase, everyone is assigned to a team, usually player characters and allies versus antagonists, but it could be player characters versus antagonists. And then rather than have an initiative system, you simply make one character makes a handling check at the start of the round. Makes a handling check at the end of the round, with everyone having decided what they want to do beforehand. This was mostly because I didn't want it to result in a system that ended up with someone failing the handling check, so another person just steps in to roll it, and another person, etc., etc., etc. I wanted it to be very much, you get one chance at this check per round, and if you fail it, you failed it. You can't. There's no do-overs. But as part of that, to keep things moving, to keep things dynamic, to avoid the binary, mostly, of traditional D20 systems, I factored in the success at a cost, or soft success, or whatever you wish to call it, mechanics from Powered by the Apocalypse games. And depending on your handling check result, something happens. I know I went on at some length about why I'd gone with these values, 13 through 19, last time, but I think I'm actually going to add another 2 values, 20 and 21, just because these will be the average things that you're rolling, and then above that, that you get away scot-free, so to speak. But because I do specifically want to get away from the binary of nothing happens if you fail and you do the thing if you succeed, on failure I'm actually going to provide a choice of 3 things that you can do, that you can choose from when you fail. Additionally, you may choose one of the following options. I guess your vehicle loses 10 integrity, and you make the Next handling... nope, it's you have an advantage. An advantage on the next handling check. That is 1. So for people, I guess, quick breakdown of... I'm making the assumptions that people know how the 5e rule set works. Whenever you make a check, in this case a handling check, you roll 1d20 and add a number to it, in this case the handling modifier. Or statistic, I guess I should say. If you have an advantage on the roll, you roll 2d20, so 2 20-sided dice, and you pick the higher result. If you have disadvantage, you pick the lower result from the 2d20 that you roll. Your vehicle loses 10 integrity, and you have an advantage on the next handling check. I also want you add 1 fortune to the pool. So fortune is an expendable resource. Sorry, I don't want to misspeak, so here we go. Sorry. This should be fortune ball. Yes, so I was just double checking because it's been a while since I read the 1e rules for fortune. But at any point with everyone else's agreement, you may take 1 fortune from the ball and re-roll any die you wish, choosing the higher roll. So you can modify advantage or disadvantage in this way. So it's just another way of potentially succeeding or improving things. But there are all that many ways to gain fortune in first edition. So this is just another way of gaining fortune. You add 1 fortune, which has a lowercase in the rulebook, so I will put a lowercase in this. That should have a comma. So I need another option. I'd like a third option, so that there's always a choice. Nothing happens, you add 1 fortune. You lose some integrity. 10 is a lot. Let's have 5 integrity. I have advantage on the next handling check. What else? What other ways can I modify rolls? Advantage, disadvantage, numerical modifiers. Skipping a turn. Rolling in like a d4. Oh. Can I do anything with that? So the first result is just pushing the vehicle. Like just pushing it to go faster, heedless of the consequences. The second result is just accepting the failure. So I'd like to step away from the third result being you just push your vehicle for a different effect. Well, your team doesn't make a handling check at the end of the next round. And you can do nothing. Trying to think how to phrase it. So I'm thinking like you skip a go basically. Oh, is there a condition I can use here? Conditions. Page 97. Sorry, I'm just trying to really quickly scan the condition list. Yeah, I think that works. You are in okay, pacitated until the end of the next round. No other character on your team may attempt a handling check. And you automatically roll a 13. On a handling check. So incapacitated means you can't do anything until the end of the next round. Another character on your team may attempt a handling check, and you automatically roll 13. So this is like you're sacrificing your ability to do anything to focus on keeping your vehicle in the race, so to speak. Again, this is all first draft material. That is likely to change, but I'm happy enough with it for now that I will move on. I haven't included Botch and Triumph guidance, so I should probably do that. I think Botch and Triumph are capitalized in the game text. One of those things like you read the text and you don't really pay attention to how they're not. How things are presented in terms of capitalization or not, and then once you actually need to know it for writing purposes, you're suddenly doubting yourself. On a Botch, team makes no progress. I think that kind of works out reasonably well. Yeah, because the guidance for botchers usually is just nothing happens, but then nothing happens in like a really obvious way. So you miss an attack and maybe a weapon breaks or things of that nature. So I'm happy to leave it with nothing happens here, purely because I already have. If you fail on if it's a non-botch, you still get the choice to do something. So I'm happy to have that 1 in 20 chance. Sorry, I guess context. A botch is when you roll 1 on the d20 and it always fails. And a triumph is when you roll a 20 on the d20 and it always succeeds and usually get something else for it. So in this case, I'm happy to have the botch do nothing except you make no progress, because every other failure gives you an option to do something. So that's fine. On a botch, the team makes no progress. With a triumph, team gains 2 progress. Exciting. Again, nothing else because you're gaining that additional progress. Okay, I need to add 2 new columns, rows even. Row below and row below. Okay, so what do I currently have? 13 on even terrain. Next handling check requires a total of 16 or more to gain 1 progress. On a 13 to 15, a complication still occurs. 14, environmental opportunity. Any number of team members may use an action next round to interact with something in the environment and so an opposing team. Each team member may choose 1 vehicle or horse involved in the chase when they do so. See, that's not really a complication. particularly. Oh no, I was doing one negative, one positive. That's what I was doing, of course. Never mind, ignore me. Each team member may choose one vehicle or horse involved in the chase. When they do so, the driver of that vehicle or rider of that horse makes the next handling check with a -2 modifier. Velocity increase, the next handling check must be performed before any other check. But a total of 11 or 12 counts as a 13. However, 2 characters must attempt it if possible. If they do, it's made with advantage. 16 clear road ahead. 1 ability check or attack roll made in the next round gains a +2 modifier. Yeah, see, this is... I'm gonna get rid of that. Let's modify it. Let's modify this. 2 characters must attempt it if possible. Lies, the check is made with a disadvantage. There we go, that's better. If they do, it is... I'm just going to specify it's not made with an advantage, because technically they'll be helping, which would give an advantage. Clear road ahead, +2 modifier. Broken ground, vehicle loses 10 integrity. Environmental obfuscation, the vehicle and all aboard it gains a +2 bonus to sturdiness or defense against ranged attacks until the next handling check is made by this team. 19 rough ground, all ability checks and attack rolls apart from handling checks made by characters on this vehicle or horse are made with a disadvantage until the next handling check this team makes. So I need another positive and another negative result. Well, in terms of negative results, I haven't yet had a result that throws a character off of the horse or vehicle. So I guess just sudden bump. Sudden bump. A randomly determined character must pass a strength saving throw. Or be thrown clear of the vehicle or horse and be unable to continue in the chase. Let's say in the scene. And then they'll, you know, theoretically rejoin at a later date, but potentially, if it's an NPC getting thrown, they might not return. They might disappear from the narrative entirely. That's up to the guide, really. Oh, I should also know, if you can, because you can see my cursor. It moves incrementally occasionally because of the wire on my computer desk just pulling tight and whatnot. So a positive... Complication is kind of the wrong word, but... I don't... I'm trying to... Now that I'm thinking about it, while I do like the negative positive aspect of this, at the same time, why are you getting these? And no extra bonus for actually succeeding outright. This is specifically supposed to be success at a cost. So, environmental distraction. All team members... let's just do this. The next handling check is made with a -2 modifier. Yeah, like low-hanging branches, that kind of thing. Let's call this Unpredictable path, the first ability check or attack roll. Each team member makes in the next round gains a -2 modifier. Characters and vehicles. I guess characters, horses, and vehicles. Horses and vehicles on other teams. Gain a +2 bonus to defense, to sturdiness or defense against ranged attacks until the next handling check made by this team. That's better. I'll probably rename some of these. Rough ground is fine. Sudden bump is fine. So I just need another negative. I need another cost beyond just what I've got already. Ooh, I know. Oops. Numbing impact. The character who rolled this handling check cannot attempt the next one. So you have to swap. Because I believe if you're proficient in if you're proficient in handle animal, you may add your proficiency bonus to the ability check. I think that's good. I need to just add. I need to change these. Environmental distraction. Oh, it can be. Oh, I guess this would be more hazard. There we go. Can be dangerous if hit at speed. Velocity increase. Clear road ahead was replaced with unpredictable path. I guess so. Unpredictable route. Rough waters. I think for an unsteady firing platform. Oh, let's just make for unsteady footing. Unstable footing. There we go, even better. Sorry, I'm just checking something. Broken ground's fine. Environmental obfuscation remained the same. To ranged attacks, rough ground remained the same. Numbing impact and sudden bump. I realized I could just copy paste these. That's all. Numbing impact. Hitting something, however gently. Can be jarring. Sudden bump. Vision at any speed can result in a sailor being thrown overboard. And send numbing vibrations through the rudder and wheel. And then it'll be numbing impact. Sudden bump. This becomes environmental hazard. This becomes unpredictable route. I will save the game because I will save my work because that's important to do. Let's bolt all of these. Right, similarly, if you're using the instant rules for foot chasers, the complications could represent the following. Broken surface underfoot, environmental hazards, bystanders, broken pottery, and any number of other hazards that could find their way. The runner's path, velocity increase, a sudden downhill or slick surface, produce an anticipated burst of speed. This was the one that you have to work together, right? Yes. This results effect remains unchanged, meaning the runner will almost certainly make the next roll with disadvantage. Did I actually break down how to use these for? You know what? I'll scroll back up after I've done this. I don't think I ever. Oh, if you're using these rules for foot chasers, it's likely that each participant will be their own team, and you should call for a Constitution traverse check instead of a handling check. The check uses the character's movement for the turn. There you go. That's how you determine how successful you are in terms of the DC. Unpredictable route. The path begins to wind back and forth with no warning. Broken ground. No. Rocks and undulations. Surface all present a danger to the runners. Not life. What's the effect for broken ground? Oh, it is health. In point of fact. That's the one that you do lose integrity / health with. Environmental obfuscate. Did I keep that name? I did. I've got to stop pressing Control. No, cancel. Nope, actually, don't save. I've got to stop pressing Control N. It's because I'm just doing it blind, but my keyboard is slightly off center, so I sometimes hit the key to the right of what I want. Environmental obfuscation. Clothes hanging on lines. Low walls and other characters. No get in the way during a chase. Rough ground. I've kind of done that already with uneven terrain. Dang it. Hang on. Let's do that there, and then this becomes a slight uphill gradient makes it harder to gain progress. And then numbing impact, I guess would be. Oh, whoops! I forgot sudden bump. Oh no, it's there. Never mind. Ignore me. Runner stumbles or bangs their head. I guess hits the head. And is momentarily dazed. And then sudden bump is a trip. The runner trips and falls prone. Now, I believe, one, that shouldn't be capitalized, and two, oh no, it should be capitalized. And incapacitated should also be capitalized because it's a condition. I am a fool. Was that up here? Yes. The runner trips and falls prone. They must use their move to stand as usual. This replaces the effect in the table above. Shot uses the character's move for a turn. A character may attempt a second check using the. I want to say dash, but again, because that might give you the wrong answer, I'm gonna double check. Because it could be run. Run! Aha! I use the run action, but this check has a disadvantage. There we go! That covers adapting for foot chasers. I'm actually going to put this paragraph of text here, so that you read that first, and then you get onto the advice about how these things could be representative in the narrative of a foot chase. A character attempting any other action may not add a proficiency bonus. to any ability check or attack roll associated with that action. Because, yes, sure, you can like try to kill people while you're running in a foot chase, but it's just harder because you're distracted. So I'm not going to impose, I'm not going to give a disadvantage because that's the obvious solution, mostly. No, it's just, I feel that so I was trying to think how best to explain. This is all kind of like gut reaction stuff, but the way that the difference between a proficiency bonus and which is it's a number that goes up when you hit certain levels in game, and it represents your training, your proficiency in certain skills, or with certain weapons and things of that nature. So a proficiency bonus makes you more consistently able to succeed because it's a static modifier. And it means you're just starting at a higher point. So as long as you don't get a botch, if the difficulty of a roll is easy, you're just more likely to hit it with a higher proficiency bonus. Which makes sense. But the way that advantage and disadvantage work is you're more likely to succeed or fail, as the case is with disadvantage, because you're just rolling twice and picking the higher or the lower result. And when it's circumstances like this, where I'm leaning more towards the feel, because this is all just based on feeling, that you should be less consistently able to do a thing rather than you are less likely to do a thing because you're distracted. I will always err for removing the proficiency bonus, and that also means that a disadvantage can be applied elsewhere through other game effects without those being ignored. And also, just because it feels bad all the time to be rolling 2d20 and having to pick the lowest, whereas this is... Yes, you're not being able to add much to it, so you're less likely to succeed, but you're also more likely to succeed than if you were rolling with disadvantage. So it's kind of the middle ground, and still makes things interesting. Particularly with this binary hit succeed fail system that the rule set uses. And there's nothing wrong with that. It works very well for the type of game that Pugmire is. It's just personal preference. And if I'm creating a whole new set of rules to add one incredibly niche thing into the game, I'm going to do it my way. And you can't stop me. However, I lost my cursor for a moment there. We won't talk about that. However, I have actually finished everything I wanted to finish today. I wasn't sure how long it would take me to think of these two options, I'll be completely honest with you. So now, I guess we'll just go into the player options, and I'll try and do stuff that... So, what I would like to do is have a Road Warden calling and a Bandit calling. Callings are the Pugmire equivalent of character classes, if you've played 5th edition. Or kind of character archetypes, I guess, is a good way of talking about it. So they dictate what you start with and what in-game abilities you have. Unfortunately, because of that, I do need to reread that side of the rules so that I can do something confidently and in a manner that makes you all think that, yes, they know what they're doing. There's my pronouns, by the way, they, them. Technically, any, but I like sticking it to the... No, there is no singular they, them crowd. So I'm not going to do it right now because I need to take the time to reread the callings and get to refamiliarize myself with the feel of them, because there are different things to They do require a different way of looking at the game than doing stuff like this, say. So what I'm going to do is make some backgrounds, because backgrounds are fun. Backgrounds are exactly what they sound like. They are what your character did before they were an adventurer. I just need to find the background list in the rulebook so I don't tread on any toes. Backgrounds, page 62. So a background gives you 2 skills. It gives you some starting equipment, and it gives you a trick. So this episode will probably end a little early, because I don't think I'm going to be able to spend half an hour on backgrounds, but I will certainly try my hardest. Sorry, I should point out, everything I have is on my second monitor, so I can keep the Word doc open on my primary monitor. That's why I keep looking to the side, including Twitch chat and OBS, to make sure that OBS is playing ball. So far it seems to be, so we're all good. Okay, so backgrounds already have an idea. We're going to do a bandit, obviously. Backgrounds. Bandit. Now, the core book does have criminal. So there is some overlap here, but the great thing is that means I can just take the criminal trick and be done with it. You have spent a large part of your life traveling the roads of the Empire and taking whatever you can from those you encountered along the way. Skills. So criminals get bluff and sneak. Not terribly far off the mark, but I'm thinking more bluff and handle animal. You know, for that sweet, sweet horse riding ability. Rucksack is the equipment that your handle animale, apparently. Rucksack is the equipment that your background gives you to start with, and it's not a lot, it's just some. So I think we'll go with horse's tack. I say riding tack, just if you're a small dog, you might be riding, I don't know, a pig. Riding tack. A set of warm traveling clothes. So instead of, yeah, I just put traveling clothes. I don't want to get super in depth. Set of clothes. A tattered map with a cache marked on it, and a belt pouch, yeah, we'll go with a few plastic coins. Oops. Right, I am... Chat, remember 62. Just going to check how in-depth the tricks are in here. Okay, well that's not going to work. Mostly because I've been looking at the starting tricks for backgrounds in 2nd edition, and I don't want to conflate the two in my head. This is the problem, obviously. Page 79. When doing stuff like this. Yeah, I'm good to keep that trick as the same. I don't think I need to create a new one for a bandit character. Friends in low places. So that's one down. Let's go with another, shall we? I suppose on the other side of it, you have a guard. Guard. Most of your adult life has been spent patrolling the byways of the Empire. And you have gained a nose for trouble. Keeping them safe from bandits and smugglers alike. And you have gained a nose for trouble. I'm just going to copy this and then just, you know, redo the words. Skills. So the soldier skills are Intimidate and Traverse. And I don't think that particularly makes sense for what we've gone for here. I think handle animal and sense motive. So we'll keep handle animal. For this. Sense motive. You would not have riding tack because that is provided by the crown. So what would a guard have? Well, they'd obviously have a set of traveling clothes with a thick cloak. A letter of thanks from a reputable merchant. Can have a few plastic coins as well. Anything? Just trying to think if there's anything else a guard would have if they left being a, you know, road warden. Because they wouldn't have anything related to the uniform per se. Because that would all be issued to them and then taken back on retirement. So this is what happens when I get towards the end of the stream and my brain just goes completely blank. And now I'm just filling the void. I forgot to check the stream title. It's a bit late now, but my brain is... Okay, we're fine. Whew. I got in real bad. Yes, anyway. Wouldn't be riding tech. Probably it's not... Oh, it's not a weapon. You don't get weapons as part of backgrounds. What would it be, you fool? Think, Ryan, think! I'm going to pull OBS up just so I can see if OBS is behaving. Anyway, yes. I guess... You know what? Why don't I look at exemplars from the book? That might be useful. See if that helps any. Okay, that's totally fine. What I was going with. A bedroll. Although actually, I have noticed that all of these have 3 things, so we'll do that. do that, and then I will go to the tricks, the background tricks, and see if any of those would apply here. Yeah, let's go with folk hero, I think. I'm thinking should probably do. I mean, I may as well just keep making these until I run out of time, and then I'll do the outro. Make these from like 15 minutes or so. So bandit, guard, pilgrim, I guess. The Church of Man. Nope. Not for you. The bricks and mortar of a church. You preferred to honor the Church of Man. Under the open sky. You have visited most of the forgotten corners of the Empire. On your pilgrimage. And then, boom! Skills, rucksack, trick! Yeah, I'm good to keep the Acolyte of Man trick with this one. So mostly what I'm trying to do is take the starting tricks that I guess dogs have access to, although I should probably check cat backgrounds. I believe the cat backgrounds were mostly the same. Except they don't get the starting tricks because the cat's house gives them a trick. These backgrounds are available to all characters if your character would not gain a trick from their background. E.g. they are from the monarchies of Mal. Simply ignore that section. Oh. Simply ignore trick provided here. Those of the Empire or the monarchies. Byways of the Empire or the monarchies. Right, here's the issue though. Why would there be a pilgrim from the monarchies of Mal? Personal spirituality. Okay, that's not view the bricks and mortar of a church. You prefer to honor the Church of Man, or develop your own spirituality. Under the open sky, visit most of the forgotten corners of the world. On your pilgrimage. Boom! Solved. Right, so, now I've done that. Have I gone the wrong way? No. I mean, it's obviously going to be... No, really. You know what? I should double check. I'm pretty sure I can use Monarchies of Mal content here, but I'm just going to double check while I'm thinking about it, because the last thing you want to do is put out community content that covers material you cannot use, cannot do. Design content using the Pugmire or Monarchies of Mal rules. Yep. Fantastic. I'm good. So it's no religion or spirituality. You know what? I think traverse makes... It's pilgrimage, right? You've put your body through its paces. I think traverse makes sense there. Then the rucksack would be a set of common clothes. I guess an alms bowl. That's common clothes and actually, you know what? I'll just take the average here. What does the Acolyte have? Yeah, I think they're all a few plastic coins actually, unless you're a noble. Which makes sense. Nobles are rich. Or a merchant. Not quite as rich as a noble, but getting there. Okay. What else? What else can I include? At this point, I'm just going through the background list and just tweaking them to provide an alternative kind of view of the same thing. So, common folk, survivor. When tragedy struck your family, I guess this would be free dog more than common folk. When tragedy struck your family, you were forced to leave the ruins of your home behind. These events have visibly marked you and the communities of free dogs free dogs you, I guess, travel amongst. Recognize you as one of their own. I guess just survival and traverse would be the obvious options here. Survival, traverse. The free dog trick is respected by strays. Set of traveling clothes. A tent. And belt pouch containing a few plastic coins. A patched tent. Okay. So I'm still need something for the common folk. I don't, because that's the guard. Never mind. Because the guard has folk hero. Yes. Criminals taken, acolyte, common folk, criminal taken care of. Free dog I just took care of. Okay, so merchant, noble, sage, and soldier. Well, I guess smuggler would kind of make sense to replace merchant as a road-based thing. You make your money by illicit goods between communities and by avoiding the law where possible. And hydrate. Generally know where the best place to buy and sell specific goods are. That should be pluralized. Nope. That should be pluralized. Okay. Merchant skills are bluff and sense motive. I'm good with bluff. Steal, maybe, actually, for a smuggler. Picking pockets for keys and things of that nature. Notice also. No, I think notice for, like, spotting ambushes and signs of the law approaching. Rucksack. A comprehensive roadmap. Set of traveling clothes and a belt pouch containing some coins. Save, because it's been a while since I saved. So that's merchant. Noble. Obviously, I'll alphabetize these after I'm done. I guess just exiled noble. You've been exiled from your family for reasons known only to yourself and your parents. While you find yourself without money, you know where you can call for a good night's entertainment and rest. So the noble skills are no history and persuade, which are fine. I gone too far? Yes, I have. Sorry, I'm trying to find the skills. There we go. Like, I'm definitely leaning towards Persuade. Keeping Persuade in. But I feel like no culture. Nah, no culture. I'm bluff. Absolutely lying. No, everything is fine. I've not been kicked out of my house. Trading on the family name while technically being exiled seems like the perfect background for a character to me. Their rucksack, signet ring, fine clothes, and a purse containing many. Many plastic coins. And I have come over dizzy all of a sudden. That's exciting. I don't think the signet ring, though, if they've been exiled, it would be... a list of favors owed. I guess both ways. Okay. Persuade, culture, gambling. Yeah. It's the bluff persuade thing I'm not sure about. But as the noble has persuade, I'm just going to stick it with bluff as an alternative. And I'm going to save. And I've just noticed the time. Oh, you feel very strongly about persuade. Okay, persuade it is. I've been persuaded by chat. What time is it? Yeah. I'll do one more. I think I've got time for one more before I should do the outro. Hermit! You've lived apart from civilization for so long that you find it difficult to... Bluff seems more low, although I could see an argument for a less proud dog, which had bluff instead of persuade. No, you make a good point. You do make a good point, because I'm envisioning also to consider that a noble education would probably have rhetoric involved in some way, which would lend itself more to persuasion rather than bluffing. Oh, deception. You've lived apart from civilization for so long, you find it difficult to truly fit in. But the years in the wilds have given you an understanding of the world that few others possess. The sage trick is nearby expert. Nearby expert. Wonderful. Heal is going to be one of these, and probably no nature. Ooh, hey, cool. Also, HIJK is the other way around. At least I believe no nature is the skill. Yes, it is. Rucksack. A tinderbox, a set of torn traveling clothes, and a belt pouch containing a few plastic coins. Didn't think I remembered editing that one. There we go. Heck, you know what? I may as well just go for broke, do the last one, and then I've done the backgrounds. Soldier. Well, that'll just be a hired guard, but I've already got guard. Well, actually, no. Take this, put it there. Most of your adult life. Volunteering. Keep the roads safe. Gained a reputation among the local communities as being a good friend in a tight spot. They I guess a dependable sword arm when the situation calls for it. Oh, did I typo? I did typo, thank you. Okay, back to this. Tricks, rank. As its privilege. I knew as I typed it, I'd misspelled that, but I was like, autocorrect got me for once, and lo, autocorrect had me for once. It was pretty good. Right. Does this still make sense for a militia member to have? Yes. Cool. A resume. Set of traveling clothes and belt pouch containing a few plastic coins. Right, skills for a soldier. Intimidate and traverse. I like intimidate. But as I'm trying to mix these up so they don't just have the same skills. Search? Maybe? Or notice? I guess notice makes more sense. And save again. Okay, so before I do the outro, today's been reasonably productive. I fleshed out the handling check rule, the chase rules for handling checks, and added botch and triumph results. The resume that useful by itself. I would think having materials for a resume would be more useful. Well, I was thinking more of it like you could use it as like, hey, I worked with this person. You can trust us overnight in your inn for free room and board and things of that nature, like proof of character, rather than writing equipment. Yeah, so I fleshed out the handling, the chase rules with progress, with botch and triumph rules, as well as adding additional results to the table and converting these to success at a cost. Explained how that works at sea, explained how foot chasers work, with more fleshed out rules for those, and then, yes, as I've just Yeah, when I scroll down, I'll rename it to Letters of Recommendation. And as I've just done, I've alternate backgrounds for all of the default background tricks in the Pugmire and Monarchies of Mal rulebooks. I need to a few letters of recommendation, and then I am incredibly lazy, so I'm just going to let Word alphabetize these for me. Right, I done goofed. It's sort by heading, I believe, is what I need. Yes. Otherwise, as you've seen, it does it by text, and it will absolutely mess up everything you've just done. And save. Okay, so that was what I've done today. So the next stream, which theoretically is the 31st of the month, I will hopefully have refamiliarized myself with how to create callings. And I know I want to do a Road Warden calling, and I do actually want to do a specific Bandit calling, although I might rename the background or the calling, so there's not, duplication. But they, as I said, do require a bit more writing than a background does. So that's something I need to take time to think about. Also, before I do the outro, I'm coming up to 4 years of this show. It'll be 4 years of this show at the 3rd of September. So I'm thinking about what I can do for that. I'm leaning towards everything that I've written on this show will have a 40% off sale. So if you're holding off on buying anything, keep that in mind. Woot woot indeed. Right, so if you were not here at the beginning of the show and you missed the Monday meeting notes breakdown, here is your much abridged version. The Monday meeting notes being the weekly update on Onyx Path as a company. So important things to note. The 2nd edition Realms of Pugmire campaign has been submitted to Kickstarter for approval. They're hoping for it to be approved in time to start next week. Pathcast, last week's Onyx Pathcast covered upcoming projects and the year ahead for Onyx Path Publishing, so check that out if you are interested in such things. The forum migration continues apace and is in its final stages. There is a screenshot of it as it stands. However, that is not what it will look like when they finally go live again. There's a breakdown of what approvals actually look like internally. On this channel this week, if you have enjoyed any of the material that I've been talking about today, or if you're intrigued by the game, the setting, any of that, at 1 p.m. today, so that would be 2 hours from now? Yes, about 2 hours from now. This is all in Eastern Standard. Eddie Webb is doing a Q&A for the Realms of Pugmire about what 2nd edition is, what the game line is, all of that good stuff. And then 9 p.m. today, Trinity Continuum Adventure Story Path Showcase. Wednesday 6 p.m. Saw and Hero Story Path Showcase with Hiromi Kota. Wednesday 9 p.m. Scarred Lands Sins of Shelzar Frostlands of Fenrilik. Friday at 9 p.m. Mummy the Curse Oceans of Eternity. Saturday 4 p.m. It's me again. I am fortunate enough to be running a Realms of Pugmire 2nd edition actual play using the playtest rules. Disclaimer for anyone who is intrigued enough to watch that. The rules we are using are the rules as they stand right now. Eddie is currently rewriting them to remove all content covered by the 5th edition Open Gaming License, so that it does not affect the game in any way, shape, or form, no matter what happens eventually with the current Open Gaming License. So we'll be making reference to mechanics that may not exist or may not exist in the state that we're using them in the final product. If you're more interested in that kind of thing, please do check out the Kickstarter. If you back it, you'll get access to the backer manuscript preview, which is about 95% complete. A good play it is. Well, thank you. I try. Or we try, I should say. 2 sessions of that are out. There's a session 0, which covers character creation, safety tools, and expectations for both myself and my players. And then the first session was on Saturday, and we had the introduction to the story. How much OGL is in Pugmire? I don't recall there being much. There isn't much, but references to things like the advantage-disadvantage mechanic and small things that are dotted throughout are covered by the OGL, I believe. But Eddie is rewriting it to fit the Onyx 20 system, so get hyped for that. Also, Saturday, 7 PM, which means I do have a 3-hour time limit. Changeling Viva Lost Vegas. Sunday, 3 PM, Scion Godsend. And then Monday, 5 PM, The Beginner's Guide with the Awkward GM. And that is a non-actual play introduction and overview to a variety of Onyx Path game lines and licenses. So if you're interested in any Onyx Path game line, swing by that, check it out. Hopefully the game you're interested in will be covered eventually. I have no doubt that will be the case. A lot of virtual tabletop assets on sale this week. Squeaks in the Deep, Connection Lost, Squeaks in the Deep Jumpstart, Scarred Lands, Dead Man's Rust, and Legend Lore assets are all hitting virtual drive-through RPG. The project status update for this week again. There is a monthly roundup of where things are, which I've just shared in the chat. But this week's projects, first draft version of Scion Street Intersection, Tasty Bit. Red Lines, there's a Tasty Bit for Trinity Continuum Assassins Art Museum, and the Branch Riders Core Rulebook. Final draft, we've got Exalted Sound, Scoundrel Song, and A Murder in Whitewall novellas. Manuscript approval, we've got The World Below using the Storypath Fantasy dice engine mechanics. Trinity Continuum Ether, the Ethernaut Collection. Post-approval development is the Realms of Pugmire 2nd edition, reworking the manuscript before the Kickstarter. Art direction, we have Exalted 3rd edition, Crucible of Legends, and Pugmire 2nd edition. In layout, Deviant the Renegade's Devoted Companion and Exalted Essence. Proofing, Scion, Realms of Magic and Mystery. And then at press, Trinity Continuum Adventure, Mage 20th Victorian Age, Scion, Dragon, Book and Screen, Scion, Masks of the Mythos, Book and Screen, Contagion Chronicles, Global Outbreaks, Exalted 3rd Edition, Luna's Novella, Trinity Continuum Aberrant, Proteus Nova Compendium, Exalted 3rd Edition Adversaries, and all of the VTT tokens that I mentioned. Here endeth the Monday Meeting Notes recap. If you have been intrigued by anything that I have spoken about today and you came in towards the end, please be aware that this is a fortnightly stream, so the next time I'll be streaming is in 2 weeks, theoretically. And please also be aware that the video on demand for this stream is exclusive to Twitch subscribers for 1 week. After that week, it is available for anyone to watch on Twitch, and also goes up on my... is it this? It is. Goes up on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/@ComradeBubbles, where they're all compiled on the playlist for ease of watching, if such thing takes your fancy. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can link it to your Twitch account to get a Prime Gaming account. And one of the rewards for that is you get 1 free subscription every month, and you can spend that subscription here if you so choose. It works out exactly the same as a standard tier 1 subscription on Twitch, except it does not auto-renew. If there are any lingering questions, I will be in chat for a few minutes after the stream, after the post-roll begins, I should say. I will answer any questions I can. If not, please do follow me on Twitter, where I'm Comrade Bubbles. I'm also Comrade Bubbles on Tumblr and co-host. So feel free to reach out on any of those platforms if you have questions. I also stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/ComradeBubbles. I will be live on Twitch in about half an hour's time, and I could really do with the company. I do video game variety streams, mostly. and I'm just doing stuff right now that is not particularly fun to do, so please do come by, swing by, ask questions, talk TTRPGs, whatever you want to do. Heckle me if you so choose, and it'll be a good time for you, at least. I think that covers everything I needed to talk about. So before I do my sign off again, please do check out the beginner's guide. It's exciting to have such a thing on the channel, and please do check out A Ball to Die For. I will try to find out if and or when that's hitting YouTube, so I can let people know about that in the next stream. But we're having a blast. It's a lot of fun. My players are great. But until next time, please do stay safe. Please do stay healthy. Please do show up for the heckling. Oh, I know you will. Please do stay wholesome. Goodbye.